Hi everyone, it is Tammy with Happy Rock Crafts. I am going to show you how to work a single crochet in the round. I'm going to be using Yarn Bee Scrubology Scrub It yarn in lemon, and I'm also using Yarnology crochet hook size I, which is a 5.5 millimeter, and that is from Hobby Lobby as well, and so is the yarn. So to begin, we're going to take our yarn and we're going to make a slip knot. So I make my slip knot by holding my two pieces of yarn. The tail end is here, and then this is the working yarn from the skein. I just insert my fingers at the top and twist, and then I grab that working yarn from the skein and I pull it through, and there's my slip knot. And then I'm going to take my crochet hook and insert my crochet hook through that slip knot, and then I'm just going to pull up a little with that working yarn and the tail just to tighten my slip knot like that. Okay, and this is single crocheting in the round, and I'm going to show you the method when you join with a slip stitch, and I'm also going to show you the method where you chain two and you start working in that second chain from the hook. You can also do this with a magic ring as well, but for this tutorial we're not going to do the magic ring, we're just going to chain two. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to chain two. So yarn over, bring that yarn through the loop on your hook, one, yarn over, bring that yarn through the loop on your hook, and that's two. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work all of our single crochets into the second chain from hook. So remember, the loop on your hook does not count as a stitch or a chain. This is your first chain and this is your second chain. So we're going to be working into this second chain. So go ahead and insert your hook into that second chain. You're going to yarn over, bring that yarn through the chain. You have two loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and go through those two loops, and that's your first single crochet. And now what we're going to do is work 10 single crochets into that same chain space. So we just did one, so we're going to do another. So this is 2, 3, and 4. And 5. I like to use this yarn just because it's easier for you to see the stitches, I feel, but you can make a round scrubby with this yarn if you're using it, or you could also do a coaster if you're using cotton yarn, whatever you're using. But the single crocheting around is a good way to show you how to do that for like a hat or coaster or any project that you may be working and it requires you to do a single crochet in the round. So this is just going to help show you how to do that. So I'm just going to continue to work my single crochets in that same chain spot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we want 10. So this is number 8, and this is number 9, and then this is going to be number 10. I'm just sliding my stitches over just to give me a little more room, and inserting my hook, yarning over and bringing that through, and that's my 10th single crochet. And now I'm just going to slide that over a little. You may not have to do that, but I do that. So now I want to join with a slip stitch to my first single crochet I did. And if you're not sure which one is your first, you can count backwards. So this is 1, 2, 3. Remember, we're looking at the V's. Those are our stitches. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to join with a slip stitch right here underneath both loops. I'm going to yarn over, bring that through the stitch and through the loop on my hook, and that's joining with a slip stitch. And now we're going to do, for round 2, we're going to increase, which means we're going to do 2 single crochets into each of our stitches. and that makes the piece lay flat. If you didn't increase on this round, your piece would actually go up into like a bowl shape. And we want this piece to be flat because we're making a flat scrubby or a coaster or whatever you're going to do. So to do that, you're going to chain one. That chain one is just there to give us a little bit of height. And now we're going to work in that same joining stitch, which is right here, 2 single crochets. So you're just going to insert your hook, yarn over, bring that yarn through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through both of those loops. And you're going to insert your hook in that same stitch again because you want to work 2 in there. Yarn over, bring that yarn through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through both of those loops, and there's your 2 single crochets. And you're going to do that into each stitch, and we're working underneath both of those loops. So insert your hook in the next stitch under both loops, yarn over, bring that through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through both of those loops. And again, we want 2 in there, so insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, bring that through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through both loops. And of course my little cat is here. I gotta grab some more yarn from my skein. And we're just gonna continue to do that all the way around. So you're inserting your hook underneath both loops and you're working your single crochet. And you're doing it 2 times into each of those stitches. So 1 and 2. So 1 and 2. And we're just doing this all the way around. Whoops. Okay, so now I'm down to the last stitch and I want to work my 2 single crochets in there. If you're not sure if this is the last stitch, if you look at the beginning of your round, you'll notice here's your single crochet, there's your chain 1, and right here is your slip stitch. So this is not a stitch because this is our slip stitch where we had joined. And then right next to that slip stitch should be your last stitch. So that's my last stitch there. So I'm going to go ahead and work my 2 single crochets into that last stitch. And now again, we want to join with a slip stitch to our first single crochet. So remember, this is our slip stitch from before, this is our chain 1, and this is our first stitch. So we're inserting our hook underneath both loops, yarning over, bringing that yarn through the stitch and through the loop on our hook. And that's joining with a slip stitch. And our piece is laying flat, and that's what we want because we're increasing. And now we're going to increase again, so we're not going to do 2 single crochets into each stitch because then that'll cause the project to curl, and we don't want it to curl because we don't want it to be too increased, I guess. Not really sure what to say there, but so what we're going to do is we're going to work 1 single crochet into the first stitch, then 2 single crochets into the next one, and that's our increase. And then we're going to alternate that all the way around. So we're going to do 1, 2, 1, 2. So to begin, we're going to chain 1. And now we're going to work in the same joining stitch. We're going to work a single crochet. So insert your hook underneath both loops, yarn over, bring that yarn through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through both of those loops. And now we're going to increase into the next stitch. So insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, bring that through. You have 2 loops, work your single crochet. And we want to work another single crochet in there because we're increasing in that one. So we just did 1 single crochet here and 2 here. And now we're going to repeat that. So we're going to do 1 into the next stitch. And now we're going to do 2 single crochets into the next one. So 1 and 2. We'll do a few more together. So now 1 into the next one. And then 2 into the next one. That's our increase. And now we're going to do 1 into the next one, and then 2 into the next one. So the 2 is our increase. And we're going to do 1 into the next one, and then 2 into the next one, and we're just going to keep doing this all the way around. 1 2 1 2 1 2. So I'll see you back when I get to the end. Okay, I've just completed this round, and I ended with my 2 single crochets into the last stitch of that round. And now I want to join with a slip stitch to my first single crochet. So remember, this is our slip stitch. It's a horizontal bar, and then this is our chain 1. So this right here is my first stitch from this round. So I'm inserting my hook underneath both of those loops, yarning over, bringing that yarn through the stitch and through the loop on the hook, and that's joining with a slip stitch. And now we're going to do another round, and we're going to increase again. So the only difference now is we're going to chain 1, and we're going to work 1 single crochet into the same joining stitch and 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then we're going to increase by doing 2 single crochets into the next one. So our repeats are 1 1 and then 2, and we just continue to do that all the way around. And if you'll notice, the repetition, it's the wider, the bigger you want the circle, the more you have to increase it. So you would do, like right now we're doing 1 1 2 for 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets. The next round you would do 1 1 1 2, which means 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then 2. So you would just increase the number of times that you're doing 1 individual single crochet per round to keep going to the width that you want. Hope that didn't confuse you. So anyways, we're going to work a single crochet into that same joining stitch. And now we're going to work a single crochet into the next stitch. We're always working underneath both loops unless the pattern tells you otherwise. And now we're going to work 2 single crochets into the next one. So when I say things like 1 1 2 1 1 2, I'm talking about the 1 individual stitch, and then 2 would be the 2 stitches. So we just did a 1 1 and 2. So we're going to repeat that all the way around. So we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and now we're going to do 2 single crochets. So we just did 1 1 2. And we're going to continue to do this all the way around. So let's do that again. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and now we're going to do 2 into this here next stitch. So 1 and 2. So we did 1 1 2. So let's do that again. So 1 1, and now we're going to do 2. So 1 and 2, and you're going to continue this all the way around, and I'll see you back. Okay, I just finished that round by working my last 2 single crochets, and now for me this is a good size for a scrubby or a coaster. So let's finish this off. So what I like to do is have a tail about this long. I just snip it here with my scissors. So let me grab those scissors, grab my yarn and snip it. Okay, and then you'll notice I didn't join with a slip stitch. What we're going to do now is an invisible join, and I like to do the invisible join whenever I'm working in a round, especially for like coasters and especially hats. So what you do now is you just pull that loop out of the stitch, and there's your stitch and there's your tail. So now we're going to take that tail and thread it with our needle, our yarn needle. And then we're going to take our project, and this is our last stitch. We're going to go over here to our first stitch, and we're going to insert our needle from the front to the back underneath both of those loops, just like that. And we're going to bring it through, and what that does is it creates a half a stitch. And now we're going to take our needle and we're going to go here to the last stitch that we did, and we're going to insert our hook from the front to the back underneath the back loop only. And what that does, you'll see, is it creates this nice little stitch. And if you're looking at your work, you can't really tell where you joined, and that's how you do an invisible join. With any project you can do that invisible join just like that. And now we want to weave in our ends. So I take this, and what I do is I just go underneath the stitches as far over as I can, and then I pull my needle through just like that. Whoops. And then I like to go back. I like to do this 3 times, so this is my second time. I'm not going to go back in the stitch I just came out of. I'm going to go over it and just kind of go back under some of those loops. And we'll say right there. Just like that. And then I like to go back one more time. That kind of secures it. I lost my little needle threaded, so let's rethread that. Okay, and then I just want to go back. So I'm just going to insert my hook. Remember, I'm not going into the one I'm coming out of. I'm just going into the loop that's right by it, and I'm just going into a few stitches like so. And pulling that through. And don't want to pull it too tight. There we go. And then I would just snip that as close as I can. And there's my end weaved in, and you can't really tell where that invisible join is. And then I would go ahead and weave in this just like I did that one, and that is it. And there's a cute little simple coaster or scrubby for your first project, working a single crochet in the round. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them for me. And thanks again so much for watching my video. I appreciate it.